Hi, I'm Brendan McGuire. I am a gut specialist for 13 years with the upper and lower digestive tract. And today we're going to be doing a sauna talk. And I have a special guest today who's going to introduce himself here. Mike.
Mike Bouchard, certified personal trainer. I run my own online and in-person fitness coaching business, and I'm excited to see where this takes us.
Mike, I'm going to throw a stat out that I recently saw. 80% of adults are pre-diabetic. 36% of young adults and teens are pre-diabetic. What's going on? Are you seeing this in your world in the personal training space? And what can we do on your side of things to try to help this epidemic that's going on?
So I haven't seen a lot of the adolescent wave of people just yet, but the advanced age, 40s and up, I see a lot of people come in 9 times out of 10. Funny enough, that's 90%. They have high blood pressure.
Interesting.
So coming into me, one of their goals is usually, hey, let's get myself off of this high blood pressure med because I don't want to take it anymore. And with a diet, exercise, and some good training and cardio, it happens.
And what percent of those people would you say are diabetic? You know?
I'm not sure about that. I know that some of them are at risk of being pre-diabetic or already in the process of being a type 2 diabetic. So they're on their way, if anything,
And would you say that a lot of these people are on medications? Like I read a stat that I don't know how old you're, 40s, but they're over 60. People are on 7 different types of medications. Do you find that the people that you are with are on a lot of medications?
Yeah, at least, like I said, a blood pressure med.
Okay.
And we can get into it, but Ozempic is also one of them that is pretty prominent now. Even in a younger demographic I see online, that's also has given an option to people. I'm 26.
Yeah.
People are my age taking it.
What do you think as far as the people that you train now? Are they asking for short-term gains, meaning like, hey, I want to drop 10 pounds of muscle, or hey, I want to gain 10 pounds of muscle for my, to look good in the summer? Where do you see the goals? Because what I'm worried about right now, and you talk about Ozempic, and we'll get into that later, but what cost? One, we can look at these prescription drugs that are coming out for weight loss, but two, are people looking at this short term or long term? Because there seems to be this yo-yo effect on a lot of things that people do. And I'm sure after the new year, maybe you got an influx of calls, but how are you handling that with
So I'm fortunate enough where I believe it's like the energy I give off, the content I create. A lot of people are in it for a decent amount of time. And I display that when I have a consult call with them. I'm like, look, it's going to be 6 months before you're really kind of getting the ball rolling here. The people who are impatient don't last more than 2 months. And I credit to the impatience to that short-term gratification era that we're in as far as social media and, these quick reward systems that we all have access to. I always tell people it's going to take longer than you think, and it's going to be more worth it than you think.
When you say the short-term monetary gain that people are looking for because of the instant gratification, what percent of those clients you train are like that? Because I gotta imagine this sucks for you too, right? Because you're like, okay, I get 2 months, I put my heart and my soul into this, and then they're gone.
Yeah. When I first started, it was about 40% of the people would drop off within 6 months.
Wow.
But now I built up enough clientele and a solid foundation of good people who are like savages willing to work, that now my clientele group is, some of them have been with me for 2 years plus. And a lot of them that are still with me are going on to their first year anniversary with me, So a lot of them are in it for the longer, but at first about 40% of them would be like, oh, this isn't for me, because they wouldn't do what I suggested to them when they weren't with me.
So Mike, one of the things I heard you say is accountability. Like they weren't doing what you asked when you had told them to go home and you had a plan set up for them. Is that just sheer laziness, or are these built by personality of drive? And do they need someone to micromanage them more so. Where have you found, number one, where have you found the success at? The people that you have, and number two, what separates them from the people that aren't successful,
Yeah.
and how can we duplicate that?
So one of my favorite demographics I like to train is business owners because they understand the concept of delayed gratification very well.
Got
You know, so the people who are doing well, I feel that have a default drive in them that are just like savages. You know, they are like, okay, I'm doing this, this, and this, not jumping off. Here we go. And those are the people that are losing 10 pounds in a month in a healthier way, rather than the ones that may be a little lazy. They also have obligations. They have kids and lives that, you know, I understand that their life isn't all fitness. So some people require a little bit more of a, hey, like, how'd today go rather than how'd this week go. So if my job would be to define how I can hold their hand and how long I have to hold it for before they're self-sufficient enough to get their goals underway on their own.
That makes sense. One of the things that I have found that's it's just fascinating to me is it's one thing to work out, right? Like I'm sure you get people and it's fun and it's exciting and all those things. Dieting, not so much, right? This is the harder part of doing everything. And 90% of everything is really the diet. So with these people, are you finding more that it's which is harder, coming in and do the workouts or following a diet plan?
Diet plan 100% all day long. And before I was really into exercise science and, you know, rep ranges, all this stuff in the gym, I became certified in nutrition. I started loving how an extra 200 calories could make me lose body fat, gain body fat. I'll feel a certain way when I have this food versus that food. I fell in love with that and began to educate people through social media, similar like yourself, about the do's and don'ts, let's say, and giving people a rough idea of what could work for them because everyone's, you know, very individual. But the diet, 100%, 100%, because, you know, they're not eating with me, they're working out with me. They usually show up. Sometimes their eating's off. You know,
Do you feel they're open and honest with you about that? Or?
absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, maybe it'd be different for some other trainers and coaches, but my first question usually when I see my clients, like, hey, what'd you have for dinner last night? Not like in a what'd you do? Like, it's just like, what'd you have? It's like, oh, I had pizza. I'm like, all right, let's try to tailor it up today. And they're like, okay, we'll do chicken and broccoli.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, this is kind of a segue for us because I think that we're going to take this into a longer format, but this just kind of gives an overview of a little bit of what we're going to be discussing in the future, which is more about personal training, the accountability, and then, of course, the nutrition being the bigger aspect.